I do want to start with the game first. Have you heard of this game?
Never.
Okay. It's called Not Just Sundays, and it's like, have you heard the game We're Not Really Strangers?
No.
Okay. So the game We're Not Really Strangers is a card game, and you play it with different people, and it's got different levels on it. So it's got different questions to help you dive deeper with those people.
Okay.
Not Just Sundays is exactly like that, but faith-based.
Okay.
So it's got 1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish. The more the fish, the deeper the question.
Okay.
So it is up to you if you want to do a 1 fish, 2 fish, or 3 fish.
I don't care. I'll let you decide. You're guiding this whole thing.
Well, how about we'll do like a 1 and a 3?
Okay, let's do that.
This one's kind of funny. Okay. Jesus pulls up to your church on Sunday. What is he wearing? That is a 1 fish.
And this is a game. This is like my interpretation.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's today's generation, right? Or is this like who are we thinking of? I have one vision, a vision of what he looks like, and I feel like it's everybody's vision, which is
robe.
Yeah, like exactly, like looking like Jesus.
Okay.
Although I've seen some guys in downtown Seattle that are homeless that look like Jesus, so like I have that vision in my head too, right? So I'm like, does he look like that? Okay.
We'll do this one. I feel like this will start off. What is something your younger self would be proud of, but you rarely recognize in yourself today?
Something your younger self would be proud of, rarely recognize in myself today. Oh man, that is a tough one. I know you mean by deep.
Is it a deep one?
I mean, it sounds arrogant when I say it, but I guess my success, although I'm unemployed right now, like I was very goal oriented, and I met all my goals and like had kids, got married, did all that, got everything done, and then I like sat in limbo. I'm like, what's my next goal?
Yeah.
I don't have a goal, so like I look at that now, and I'm like, I'm just living life. But I think from an outside perspective, people are like, man, you did really well for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I've been told that, and I'm always like, I'm just living life, man.
Yeah.
So I guess that's probably what I'd say.
Okay. I like that. Guys, this is Pursue with Faith's first official, we'll call it conversation as opposed to a podcast. And I have my friend Derek. Derek says hi.
Hello, everybody.
And when did I meet you? Like 2 months ago, maybe?
About.
We met 2 months ago. The Alpha program that's going on at our church. And when I met him, he told me that essentially he was an atheist up until 4 weeks ago. And obviously, me being a talker, I was like, please say more. So I invited him to kind of just have a conversation with me about that whole entire journey. I only know a little bit, so a lot of things he says, I will also be surprised, which I think is pretty cool. But before we start, I just kind of want to pray, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Just pray about God guiding us and being open and vulnerable.
Sure.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this time together. Thank you for the opportunity that we get to discuss Derek's story and just be in communion with one another. Lord, I pray that you guide this conversation and that we see you work through it. Allow me to have the words fill my breath and lungs of the words that you want me to say, and help me to have open ears as Derek shares his story. I thank you for him and everything that you're doing and working in him, Lord. I just pray that you're here in this presence and that whoever this conversation is for, that it reaches that person. Help us to be open and vulnerable towards one another and wherever you're leading and guiding us. In your name, we love and praise you. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, can you give me like maybe a crash course on your life?
Yeah, let's do this. We'll just start from where I was born and raised in the Bothell area, Bothell, Mill Creek, Linwood area. My parents have been together since 81, so we're still together. So it's 45 years now, and we had a pretty good upbringing. My dad was an electrician, my mom was a legal secretary. I had some ups and downs in that. I got in trouble with the law at age 12. Me and a couple friends went into an abandoned school that was getting ready to be demolished in about 3 to 4 weeks, and one of them decided he wanted to try and light something on fire, and well, it turned into a massive structure fire, completely burned down. 2 million gallons of water to put it out. That scared me from ever getting into trouble again. Fast forward, my brother joined the Marine Corps at age 19, so I was 15, and I got to go to his graduation, and that was like really inspiring. To rewind a little bit, 9/11 happened when I was what, I was 13, I guess, 12,
Wow,
13.
I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I just
No,
wasn't born. Like I was.
I got it tattooed on me. It was a big reason why I joined the
Wow,
military, and then
okay.
and then my brother joined, and I really was like, man, I want to do that. That was cool, and so I ended up wanting to join the reserves because I wanted to have like my goal oriented thing. Like I said, I had a job in mind. I wanted to pursue being an electrician, and I also wanted to do that and serve my country. And I managed to do both those things. And long story short, deployed to Afghanistan in 2012, and I had a lot of hardships with that. I met my wife in 2011, and she stayed with me through my whole deployment. And I came home and got engaged, and then got married, had kids, and got my journeyman license. Became a leader in that industry as far as running work and leading people. And I got a taste of what I wanted, which was running large commercial work, and I didn't manage that stress well. For some reason, I managed combat stress a lot easier than the stress of running large jobs. It's very political and it's very hard, and so really I've had a lot of ups and downs. So the last 14 years, I'd say, it's probably been the hardest part of my life, dealing with like PTSD and traumatic brain injury and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, even in those times, I tried to, where you at, man? And I never found that. You know? So that's why I thought it was so odd 3 months ago, more or less. It just kind of came to me out of nowhere. So that's the short version.
That's what I love about it. It's just like, I remember you telling me that you said, I don't know what it was, but all of a sudden it was like, I need Jesus. And you just like went looking for him. But do you remember like what you were doing when that moment came to you?
Well, so I don't want to say it was all just sudden. About probably 2-3 weeks prior, my friend and I, a couple friends of mine and I were talking, and he's like, yo guys, I just want to bring something up. And he was like, I think demons are real. And I was like, I kind of thought that too. Like, what are you getting at? Elaborate, And he kind of said some words that like I now say like as if they're mine, when really he put them in my mouth. And so like, I kind of started thinking more about that. But so fast forward again, like 2-3 weeks, I was sitting right here next to my wife, and I was just like, something in my head was like, yo, like you need to talk to your wife about this. And I look over and I was like, babe, I want to talk to you real quick. She's like, what's up? I'm like, I don't know how to not sound crazy right now, but like I kind of think demons are real. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I don't know. I just kind of feel like where there's darkness, there must be light. And like I want to know what that's about. And I say people like there was like a voice in my head, and I still don't know if it was me, but like something was like, you need to find Jesus. And I was like, where's this coming from? And so that's more or less what happened.
Obviously, I think everything that you're saying just is so intriguing to me, because I grew up in the church.
Sure.
So like I've never had that like moment of it's something that I've just basically always known. But that's why I found it so just like wanting to be pulled into a conversation with you, because I'm like what does that feel like? And you see when Jesus in the Gospels, he goes up to Matthew the tax collector and he's like, Matthew, follow me, and he drops everything and follows him. And that's what like your story kind of reminds me of.
I fought it hard.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I would have arguments with him in that 3-4 week time frame. Like I'm like, I want this, but I don't like. I remember like I wouldn't like curse at Jesus or God, right? But I'm like, what do you? I'm gonna be blunt. What is this shit? Like, it was like my own ego wouldn't give up. I'm like, what are you doing? That's kind of like when you came and prayed for me in Alpha. I was like, even that moment, I was like praying, like, what are you doing to me? I still don't believe you. Like, what is this? And so
I loved that moment, because I remember I told you you were like stressing out. I'm not a prayer.
Sure.
I've been very timid in my prayer life. It's the one thing that I've really struggled with, just because, like I told you, I've always felt like you had to be pretty to go to God in terms of prayer, because it's so constructed. And when you grow up in the church, it's like all of these big words that you feel like you have to hit.
Sure.
But in that season, when I came over at the Alpha weekend, I was like working on my prayer journey. I was like, Lord, okay, give me opportunities. When I feel like I need to pray for someone, I'm going to stop everything I'm doing and just pray when I'm prompted to. I'm going to pray for like a safe mind when I go to sleep and all those things. And I remember like looking over at you, and it was like, duh, duh. And I'm like, no. I was like, I can't. But I was also standing there thinking like, okay, Lord, like, why am I here? Because a lot of my people like didn't show up, and it wasn't about me, obviously. But I was thinking like, I could have left. I mean, that's 8-hour, day. It was a long day. But after praying over you, it like clicked. I was like, I was here for that one moment. And I'm so glad that I was there for that one moment.
I'm
I was like,
there.
it was great. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I started crying. But going back to, having that conversation with your wife, is your wife a believer?
No.
Or okay.
No, since doing this, I've been like, I think that's the first day church. I was like, I want you to come with me. Because like our good friends, they're the godparents of our children. Like they're very close friends of hers. And then through our relationship, became friends with them. Yeah. They've been like praying for us for like about 15 years for us to like, to find this. Yeah. And when I first kind of found this, I went straight to Jeremiah, my buddy. He's doing his own discipleship in his church, and she's very active in her church. And they were just like, thank you, Jesus. Like, we finally answered. You took me long enough, but come on, man. Yeah. So like they were like, what? And they're the ones who sent me my Bible. Wow. So like they bought me a Bible and sent it to me, and I was like, oh, thanks guys. And like, it just changed everything. So. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so she's not a believer. I bought her a Bible, and I finally got her to open it like the other day. And I was like, start reading John. Yeah. Just start reading John. That's where you should start.
Is that where you started?
That's where I was told to start. Okay. I didn't know where to start.
There's been a lot of people that always start with John. There's a lot of intimacy in those Gospels, which is what I appreciate about if you're like a new believer. Because like going into Genesis and Exodus, like obviously know the beginning, yes, but it's rough. It's not like it's a lot of searching and you don't even know what you're looking for. Right. So the Gospels are your best bet. Is that something you've been consistently doing?
Yeah, I don't know how long it's been now. Probably 5 weeks or so, but maybe 6 weeks. But I started like doing my own like prayer before eating, and then like Lisa noticed after like 2 or 3 days, and finally she's like, "Do you want to say it out loud?" And I was like, just like you, like, I'm like, sure, it's been clunky, and I like kind of memorize like a short one just to get to the point. Yeah. And now I'm like branching out further, making it longer. Things in the moment. And so yeah, we do that every night now, at least for dinner.
I want to go back to like how you proclaimed yourself as an atheist. That's what I want to know. Like, how did that come about?
I thought it was well. That's why I say I'm a light atheist, or was, because some people are like, I think you're agnostic. I'm like, no, I thought it was all bullshit. Yeah. Because like I'm like every time I've ever tried, I'm like, this guy here, it's all farce, and like I guess a lot of it comes from, the Midwest Bible thumping people where they're like super judgmental, like trying to be Jesus like, but they're like the opposite of what Christ is about. Yeah. Like, in short, I just didn't believe it. I thought it was all made up. I thought it like that book is like a guide to like just how to be a better person, and it's not real. And I thought it was bullshit. And so.
Honestly, that's fair.
I mean, I don't know how
else
to
that's honestly
like, this is fake.
Honestly fair. Were your parents Christians growing up, or so?
My dad went to church as a kid, and I learned this pretty recently. I told him what I started doing, and my mom was kind of raised in the church, and my dad was, he also went to church as a kid, but they're not really big believers and like followers. But he said when they first moved back to Washington State, they went to church with my brother when he was a baby. And they went to like a Pentecostal church, and my dad was like, these freaking weirdos are speaking in tongues and doing all this weird crap. And he's like, we're out. It's like a cult, And I'm like, I get that. Like, that's also a learned thing. And I'm like, the different types or beliefs around Christianity, I thought it was kind of weird. I'm like, aren't we all Christians? And I still don't understand that. So. Yeah. No, I don't understand it either. Right. Yeah. I don't know. Someone once asked me like, "Oh, what denomination are you?" And I was like, "Dude, I couldn't even tell you. Like, I just know that I love Jesus. Like, that's where I can. It's like I know I love Jesus, and I believe His word, and that's where I'm at." Well, good. I don't want to interrupt, but same thing. My good friend kind of put the words in my mouth for me. I'm like, I don't know that I like the word Christian because it has so much negative
connotation.
Yeah, everything around it. And so he's like, I'm not Christian. I'm a follower of Christ. Yeah. And I'm like, I've kind of adopted that too. Yeah. And I like that. Life Point's non-denominational. It's just kind of like. I mean, we're all on our own walk, doing our own thing, dude. As long as we all kind of, try to act, be like Jesus. You're just a good person. So
we're just bringing people together to Jesus and being in community with one another. So that's what I like about our church too. It's for such a big church. It's like very intimate. Like you can always find someone that you know. But speaking of our church, when did you start going to the church?
It'll be February 28th is my first day.
Okay, and how did that come about?
So let's rewind to the Thursday before having the conversation with my wife. That next morning, I called probably 10 people that I know are faith-based, and close friends or people I trust to talk to.
Yeah.
First person I call is a good friend of mine who lives in Montana, and he's just like, dude, I'm so proud of you to try to do that because I've never understood it. And he's like, you of all people are not the person I'd see to do that. Like, his words, not mine. I'm like, I agree, but like,
you're not wrong.
and he started kind of helping me through all that. And he's actually the last. He's to jump around, but he's the person. Post alpha the next day is where I became a believer. Even in that moment, I told you I was like, I don't believe this. What are you doing to me? He was the reason why I believe now. Not him per se, but what I did for him. That next day, I called a few people, 10 people, and we were discussing things. And around actually exactly 13:27, 1:27 p.m., I called a friend of mine who's a pastor. He's a fellow electrician, and he said some things like what I was talking about in the moment. We were, talking about some stuff, and he asked me if I ever prayed, and I was like, kind of like, no, not with serious conviction, And he's like, maybe try that, dude, and he kept talking, and so in that moment, I internalized something in my head, like very brief, and we were really slow for my business at the time, like work was slow. I remember thinking, like, I think the exact words were, "Our God, if you're real, why don't you show me, like, give me some work, give me a sign, give me something." I'm not joking. A second later, my work phone rang, and like I'm almost on the phone with this guy. So I went to voicemail, and it was, "Hey, I need you to give me a bid for this, 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 and this." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "This is weird coincidence, right?" And so fast forward to that evening, my friend Jeremiah mentioned the godfather of my kids. We were discussing like hardships and weird stuff, and he interrupted me, and he goes, "Dude, I think it's so strange you're calling me at 5:55 p.m. talking to me about what you're talking about, and it lines up exactly with Psalms 55:5. And it was kind of weird, and so he made that kind of a correlation. And so I started looking back, rewind to 13:27. What I was talking to my buddy about was exactly what Psalms 132:7 lines up with. And I was like, "Oh, that's so weird." I started trying to look around, and I kept finding all these weird connections. And I'm like, these are weird coincidences, and I don't believe these coincidences anymore.
I want to look up because obviously.
So I was talking to my friend about how the world's just kind of going to crap, and that's where Psalms 55:5 comes in.
No, I'm in the wrong book. This is Job. What am I doing?
That's a tough book.
493.
That guy had it rough.
No, Job's stories is wild.
I've definitely read it.
It could never be. I can't handle it. God gives me one test and I'm like, no, please
don't do this again.
Do it. Psalms 55:5. Fear and trembling have. What is that word? Behest me? Horror has overwhelmed me. Is that the one you're talking about? Oh.
I was like, I'm afraid for the future is what we were talking about. Because like the world's going to crap. It feels like.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of weird how that worked, right?
Yeah.
And again, I didn't make the correlation he did.
Lining up. I think that's one thing that's very important in terms of like having people around you that are more knowledgeable. And
I'm a baby in my faith.
I'm a baby in my faith too, and I've been in it for like 20 years, so it's different for everyone. But okay, so that Sunday, you decided to go to church.
Oh yeah, you asked me what made me start going.
Yeah, did you and your wife go?
No,
or
I went with myself the first day.
Okay.
So I don't know what it was in that whole time. Actually, I do know. I'm totally lying. A lot of what I think came to life here is, so coming home from Afghanistan, like PTSD was pretty tough for me. I dealt with a lot of kind of negative stuff over there, and I turned to like smoking pot, like what for a medicinal reason. Then it turned into like a habitual problem, and I used to firmly believe that was not an addictive substance. It's definitely an addictive substance. So I was falsely feeding my brain dopamine for about 12 years, a lot in the last couple of years. Why that's relevant is I cold turkey quit the week before, so then I'm just in a weird emotional state. Like everything's coming out. All my Afghanistan's coming out.
The week before that. Oh my. Okay.
That's kind of where I think a lot of this came from too. Is like just like clear-minded or more clear-minded, getting all that out. So I was in a weird headspace. I was like, I'm not usually an emotional person. I can be. It's very seasonal for me for that kind of stuff because it's just dates and things happen, But it's like I quit smoking pot, and then I was like, I think I need to go find Jesus or something. And again, I don't know if it was me or if it was a voice. I still don't really know, right? And so, and I don't think I ever will. But I called a good friend of mine, and he told me, "Hey, dude, you should go check out." And those 10 people I called that following Friday or that next Friday, he's like, "Dude, you need to go to this place called Life Point in Lake Stevens." He's like, "It's like our home away from home." He recently moved to Boise in December, and him and his wife like spent a long time there. But he's like, "Go check out this place." And I remember, because again, I suffered from PTSD and stuff like that. I remember pulling into the parking spot, like right in front of the park, and seeing the sign on the front of the building that says like it's okay to not be okay. And I remember like going, don't start this, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, choke him down, you know? And so like he had told me the service was at 8:15. I didn't do any research. He went there, you know?
Yeah.
Like naturally, Marine Corps, I'm early for everything. It's like 7:45. First service is at 8:30.
Yeah.
I'm there 45 minutes early. There's nobody there. I'm like, man, there's nobody here at this church. It's kind of interesting. I'm like, well, I'm gonna jump in at 8 o'clock or 7:55, and I walk in, nobody's in there. And I go to like towards the kids' hall, and I'm like, there's nobody down here. And like I see the worship doors are closed, but I don't know where the sanctuary's at, right? And I'm like, where's everybody at? And I walk into the starting point room, and who walks out of the back door is Darren, Pastor Darren. And he like locks eyes with me, you know, like, and he's like, hey brother, you looking for somebody? And I'm like, yeah, actually. He's like, who are you looking for? I'm like, this is Jesus guy, man. And he's like, all right, brother, let's talk, man. And so he brought me aside, and he's like, so what's going on? And I kind of told him what I told you the first time, man. He was like, dude, that's right on. Why don't you come see me after the service? You know, go enjoy it. Just trying to just take in what you can, you know, and come see me at Starting Point afterwards. And so I went and did Starting Point. I was the only one in there. And he's like, dude, you should come to Alpha Group. You know, we're about like 3 weeks into it. You know, it's an 8-week course, but like you're welcome to hop in right in the middle, dude. We'd love to have you. And I was like, what is it? What's that? You know, and he told me what it was, and I was like, sure, we'll give it a shot. And I'm sure he probably was like, that guy's never coming back. You know, after he said that, he's like, well, hey, let's do a quick prayer for you. And I'm like, it felt so weird. Like all that felt very weird and strange and foreign. I'm like, I don't like this, you know. And he had a prayer for me, and then like I remember in that moment, I was like choking down tears again. And then I was like, hey man, I don't know you. What, a hug? He's like, yeah, dude. And I gave him a huge hug. I was like, thanks, dude. I appreciate it. And I left. And then 2 days later, came into Alpha, and that's when I got paired up with Ryan and the whole Alpha team, and met all them. And I'm kind of like tearing up right now. It was a good time. Yeah. And like I felt very welcomed, but very like I don't know how much I want to share with these people, because I feel like if I say I'm an atheist, people are gonna be like, this guy, you know. And that's kind of. But I'm also like, my own ego still is like, you know, like, I don't care, come at me, I'll fight you, you know, like, I'm not going to, but I'll say it, you know.
It's the hesitancy, and I completely understand that, because, you know, Christianity can have negativity connected to it, and judgment, and all the opposite that God calls us to not be is exactly what we kind of show in the world sometimes.
Right.
So going from somebody that isn't necessarily in a room full of all these, you know, Christians, it's kind of hard to be like, oh yeah, you know, I was an atheist, so I'm still trying to kind of figure it out with like open arms. So I get that, but I thought it was so cool. Like I love that you told me like right off the bat. I was like, oh, this has never like happened before. Yeah. And I remember in high school I had a friend who was an atheist. I don't think he is anymore, but at the time he was an atheist, and we just were talking about God. And he's like, I think this is a coincidence. And I'm like, okay, well, you can think that, but I think this is a miracle because of this. So since you have kind of turned the corner, is there anything in your past that you look back now knowing Jesus where you're like, this was definitely not a coincidence, like this was God ordained?
So much. It's hard to pinpoint exactly like a moment. I can see the fingerprints on things, like almost getting shot or like getting blown up and stuff like that, like the timing of like coincidences of things, but nothing like so astounding we need to talk about, you know. Nothing that comes to mind right now. So.
No, that's fair. I think honestly too, like I'm a big believer in like finding God in the mundane and in the ordinary of life. Yeah. And I remember this pastor was talking about how sometimes as Christians we leave God out of things because we're like, oh, he doesn't care, like we, you know, whatever. And he was like, I remember I had a friend, and he was like going golfing with his buddies, and he basically just like left Jesus at home, you know, kind of that like, this is who I am with my buddies, and this is who I am when like nobody is looking, kind of thing. And he looked at his friend and he's like, do you think Jesus doesn't like golf? And I remember just that comment of like, you don't think Jesus likes golf, like put me in such a weird headspace, because I was like, I should be bringing him like in anything and in everything and everywhere. So now you newly being a Christ follower, what does that look like for you?
I have a very good answer for you right now. This happened right before you came over.
Oh.
We, like, again, working at a garage sale all day, right?
Yeah.
Like, I never take my wedding ring off. Like, I feel naked without it. It feels odd. I've only had this for like 3 weeks, and I took a shower and went and got pizza on the way there, and I was like, man, I feel naked. I don't have my cross with me. I forgot it. This is just a symbol.
Yeah.
This has no real bearing on anything.
Yeah.
But to me, like, even with the like American flag thing on it, I was like, that's like,
Yeah.
that's my shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So I felt really naked without it, I guess. But even in the last few weeks, because I've been so busy getting my house cell ready, I've been like terrible about reading my Bible. I try to read it every day, at least give me like 3-4 chapters of something I'm reading. And when I don't, I feel very guilty now. So I guess that's the only real way I know how to answer it. But it's. Can I read you something real quick?
Yeah.
Actually, this is my buddy sent this to me the other day, and it's very relevant. He sent it to me on Instagram, and I read this to my therapist actually the other day. It like blew my mind how it's very relevant for me. Where is it at? Right here. So it's the 7 stages a man walks with Christ, whatever. And it's the stage 1, the pull. You don't know why, you just know you have to go back to church or to church, back to confession, back to him, that pull, that Christ is knocking. 2, the honeymoon stage. Prayer feels electric, mass moves you to tears, sin loses its grip overnight. You assume it always will feel like this, and it won't. I tell you what, I've definitely felt that way. This is where I'm stuck. Stage 3, the desert. Prayer goes dry, God feels distant, old temptations come back swinging. God didn't leave, now you have to choose him without the high. That's where the real faith starts. 4, the battle. You came to fight the devil, then you met yourself, your pride, your lust, your cowardice. The devil didn't build them, he just rents the room you gave him. Now the real war begins. Stage 5, the surrender. You stop fighting God, the man who had to be in control dies, his plans, his pride, his grip. What rises in his place is a son. Not my will, but thine. And then 6, the mission. The faith stops being about you. You start dragging souls out of hell, at work, at home, at the bar. Your life becomes a weapon. You become God's soldier. And 7, the union. It's no longer you living. It's Christ living in you. Your thoughts, your words, your hands, all his. This is what the saints were made of. And it says, keep walking. Most men quit at the desert. Saints walk straight through it. The stages aren't the goal. Christ is. And like that, really, for some reason, a stupid little Instagram, probably AI made up little pages is like, but even though I feel like I'm in the desert a little bit, I'm still like, I'm pushing forward.
You're pushing through.
So, I don't know, I find that's like really moving to me, but I'm also like, you know, the spiritual warfare kind of thing. I feel like God's kind of calling me because shit's about to go down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want it to, but.
Well, I remember at the Alpha, you were telling me, you're like, I want this relationship so bad with him, but there's something that is stopping me. Is that still there, or has it fully just broken down now?
It literally was. It was after after that last day on Alpha. After church the next day, and that evening, my good friend who I told you was like the full circle. I talked to him first, and he's the last person to talk before it clicked, which I find odd. I'm sure he feels great for that. But he was kind of doing some things he shouldn't be doing, right? And so I kind of do my own little discipleship. I start sending him my own little scripture stuff I find relevant, and I just send him to him like, hey man, like, keep coming back, dude. Like, get rid of those bad habits, come back to Christ. And just one day it was like, imagine just reading that. It's like some simple words. And he just said like, dude, thanks man. I really needed to see that today. And that's all it took. And I was like, I get this. Yeah. I get what this is all about. And I don't know. That's that in that moment, just me just spreading the word was good enough for me to be like, okay, I understand what this is about now. So. Because
you were exactly what that person needed at that time. Whatever you chose, you know? Yeah.
It just kind of blew my mind. I was like, okay, I'm a follower now, and I'm gonna live my life this way. And so, even the day before, when all that was, when I felt what I still believe is the Holy Spirit in my pilot light igniting, I was like, I don't believe you. What is this? What are you doing to me? You know? So, especially being neutral, walking into that room, like super, just neutral, walking into that worship session. I wasn't upset about anything. I wasn't mad.
Just there,
I was just like, yeah, it's good music. Oh, I'm gonna go cry in the back and not let anybody see this. What is happening to me?
I remember that. I was like, where did you go?
I was crawling on my skin. I wanted to get out of that room so bad. I didn't like that.
No, it's an uncomfortable feeling for sure. Unfortunately for me, whenever I feel something, I feel it with my entire body. Like I may not talk about something, but my body will tell you, like, I'm upset, I'm joyful, I'm this, I'm whatever, and like you can always tell. But I remember Ryan was like, dude, you sit up front, during church, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm 5'1", like I like to see.
Right.
And he's like, well, when you're worshiping God, you might as well be 6 feet tall. And I was like, that is the nicest compliment that I've ever gotten, and not because I'm like doing anything, because like in my brain I'm literally like, that's like my time with the Lord, So, I guess in saying that, where do you think, like, when you're around a lot of people, do you find like your time with God? Like even in at church, is there like moments where you just feel like that intimacy since that Alpha weekend?
I would say the first 8 weeks of being going to church, every single service, the message was as if I'm talking, like they were talking directly to me, which was kind of mind blowing. In church, I don't know what it is about that room, but I feel in that room, for some reason, I feel so much more connected to God than I do elsewhere.
Yeah.
I try to make habits on my own. Like if I'm getting in my car and I'm just going to the store, and like I'll do a quick prayer, like, hey, what's up, bro? I try to feel like a friend, even though I'm like the guy's all mad, just crazy, powerful.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, dude, just like make sure I get there, all right, man. Make sure I get to and from,
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate your time,
Yeah.
And then like later, I do that sometimes, like to make it more. It's more about my relationship with God, right?
Yeah, I think my favorite part about being a Christ follower is that everybody's relationship with God is different. Yeah. It's unique and it's so intimate for everybody else. With God, He gives us this free will, and like, even in the Bible, He calls us friend. Judas betrayed Him, and on the night Judas betrayed Him, He called him friend. And it's like that's the God we serve.
Right.
Yes, He's almighty, He's powerful, He's the creator of the universe, and He's beautiful in everything. But also at the end of the day, He's like, I want you to come to me. I want you to come to me with your troubles. I want you to come to me with your sorrows and your burdens, and like I want to be a helper, and I love you so much, so I want to be in a relationship with you. And I think that is such like an essential thing, where it's not necessarily you have a list of do this, do this, do this, do this, and then you can like get perfection. But it's like, no, I just want your heart, and we can be in relationship. And now you're figuring it out as you go, and you're what, 3 months in?
About, yeah. February 28th, what's today, like 30th or something?
Yeah, like May. Yeah, you're about 3 months in, and I still see you, even though you said you're stuck on that desert part where you're still, obviously we have a new church group that you're in, and you're still chasing after Him and trying to figure out everything, whether or not you're stumbling. Everybody stumbles, but I just think it's like so cool that you're still trying to figure that out and finding your own relationship with Him, no matter what you see with everybody else. Has there been a part that has like scared you? I know in the beginning you were like, oh, I don't like this, like at all. But like now, is there something that you're like, oh, I think I'm afraid to, like, for this,
What do you mean?
Just like being a new follower of Christ. Like, is there things that you hear other people talk about or tell you, or even things like you read in the Bible where you're just kind of like, ooh, I don't know.
I think the only thing I can really say, and it's to summarize all of it, would be, and this is again not my word, something that's not found on the internet. Instagram, Facebook sucks for that, but it's also good. But a guy said, if he basically says like, if this is all fake, then it's all fake and we don't know. Lights out, right? I'll go to sleep, whatever, forever now. But it's not the worst mistake he ever made, and that terrifies me. Like I never thought about afterlife. I thought we just whatever, lights out, you're unconscious. Like that's kind of how I assumed it. But like at the same time, like what if it's not? That freaks me out. I'm talking about like hell. Like, oh man, I feel like I've been there.
Yeah.
Been there a few times. I don't want to experience that.
For eternity.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds terrible.
Yeah.